Hey up YouTube, it's WG Revival here with a bust. Not something I've done before, but something I've fancied doing for a while, just to sort of push myself, challenge myself, try and generally improve my skills as a painter. He's an early work in progress, and the reason I've sort of stopped to make a video at this point, well, there's two reasons. Firstly, I hadn't intended to do it right from the beginning, so from bare resin, prime it, put some base coats on and everything. I just got a bit excited one day and just got down and primed him and started painting. So the fur, I think, is largely done. The little brooch thing there is partly done, and the skin is barely started. The second thing I realised is that I absolutely hate this bright green colour scheme. So there's a number of things here. I mean, firstly, I think it looks okay on 28mm, but not on this size. It needs to be something more, not as cartoony. And secondly, just been watching Wargaming with Gary's videos. He's doing these orcs with sort of green tinged flesh, and like most of my ideas, I thought, yeah, that's a good one, I'll steal it. So far I've gone with a big lot of is this War Boss green from GW for his skin. I'll be painting over that or doing something to rescue it. The fur is sort of finished, so I've used Foundry's chestnut green triad there because it's nice and reddish and will contrast nicely with the green skin. It's still going to be green, just not as brightly green, so that can stay. Finish that off with some Rakar flesh from GW. That's the final highlight. And then the bronze has begun using bronze barrel triad again from Foundry. And I say begun because these two haven't even opened yet. So that's basically, it's just the shade tone with a black wash over it. So, bits to do then, well, not a lot really, but yeah, there's just the finish off his brooch, and then the big job is just getting his skin looking good. After that there'll be some details. I mean, at this scale, of course, I'm going to paint the eyes in, but this is where we go for now. This is the beginning of my Goblin Bust. A couple of coats of paint later, he's looking a lot better. So I've begun with some khaki and continuing the military themed colours. This is reflective green, so normally I'd be using these on my World War II Brits, so webbing and his helmet there. This time transferring him to a fantasy subject. I know everything looks better after a wash, but yeah, he's really starting to take shape now. So the next stage will be to put in some heavier shading down here. So whether this is just a heavier coat of reflective green and then probably shade it with something else. So under his neck, under his ears, under his nose, under his eyes there, and a bit more just in the sort of the deep creases that he's got. So that was a big sort of, the first one was a big wash / glaze. The second one will be just more localised and slightly less watery paint. But yeah, that's a huge step forward, so very pleased with that. At that stage of, well, it's a bit of a mess right now, but I have a clear way to get him back up to looking nice. So heavier shading under his chin, nose, etc., and particularly under his ears. I may yet go in a heavier shade under the ears, but that's a heavier coat of reflective green as before. finally deviating from World War II palette with Kromlech from P3, and with that quite a lot of just basic black. That's the Citadel Air colour, by the way. I've started using that. It's quite handy just to have a nice pre-thinned paint that you can fix your cock-ups with, but and I also want to get the same for Dryad Bark. Just same thing really, just a nice sort of repair thing. But yeah, I'm getting on with this Citadel Air stuff. It's quite nice just to have that little, you can just dip into the pot without, you know, getting it on your palette and everything else. So the other update for this is his brooch. So I've gone through with the rest of the bronze barrel triad from Foundry, and then a bit of extreme highlight with aluminium from Model Air. Again, you know, using air colours with a brush. I don't have an airbrush. So that shading might be a bit too harsh for the moment, so I may take that down a little and just try and get it a little more subtle, you know, because it's a large scale model. It's not quite the edge highlighting sort of easy job that a 28mm figure is, but yeah, this is a challenge. I'm enjoying it immensely. Let's see if I can get it from this stage to a decent model that I'll be proud to show off. From one mess to less of a mess. I've taken this up with, well, having wanted to improve my skills and whatever, I've actually dry brushed all of this. So it's looking pretty good. I'm gonna do a bit more actual, you know, edge highlighting around the wounds, and maybe some extreme highlighting around the eyes and possibly his chin with, I suppose, what you call normal techniques, well, non-dry brushy ones. Other than that, I've made a start on his eyes, so they're going to be an amber colour, and I've just sort of started again with his spots, so I think I'll make those a brighter green. I may, just as a tribute to my first failed stage of this, I'll put in some more Boss green and then take that up and finish with a brighter. Just make them nasty, but make them really jump out, because they're quite prominent, and at the moment they are really sort of looking a bit weird as they are. But yeah, I want a nice sort of vivid, bright, quite unpleasant colour for those. The dry brushing itself really, I sort of began under his chin, just with pure reflective green. I'm sticking to the colours I've been using, mixing in more and more khaki, and although it's dry brush, it doesn't look too bad because I've brought the colours up quite gradually, so it doesn't look too chalky. I've got work to do, but it doesn't look too dry brushed. And then just to finish it off, I introduce some Iraqi sand at the end, just for the really prominent areas, and it'll be those it'll be the same set of colours I'll be using just for the final highlights for his skin. We're getting close to the end now, and well, he's got, I've done a bit of work on his skin, a few more highlights, I've filled in all his warts, and made a good start on his eyes. So onto the warts first. Well, I undercoated him back again with Kromlech, went in with some Warboss green, and then just to really lighten that up, in with a bit of beige. With the beige on my palette, I did a bit more, so a few more extreme highlights around the eyes, nose, mouth, and around these sort of bits of scar tissue or wounds or whatever they happen to be. And that'll, I think I need to just put a bit more, I just want to highlight up those two veins on the sides of his head, and that'll probably call it a day for his skin. Moved on to the eyes. Began with sanguine base, this sort of reddish brown. Popped in some, I've forgotten the name of this thing, Mornfang brown from Citadel, and again lightened it with beige. Now that was starting to blend in a bit too much, because a lot of the green around his eyes is highlighted in beige. So I just sort of went over that with some this P3 orangey yellow, which is called Heartfire, and now that's looking better. So I need to just give him some pupils, as I say, do these veins, and then I'll just have a quick once over, but I'm getting about ready to call him done. Here we are, right to the end. I've done my last couple of bits, so I've just picked out the veins in the original khaki colour and just put in some pupils. There he is, he's done. Pretty happy with him. He's just, I've also gloss varnished him and matte varnished him. The matte varnish is not quite dry yet. Might need another coat just to tidy it up. But yeah, I'm pretty flipping happy with that. The first attempt at doing something on this scale, and yeah, it's gone pretty well. One thing I do need to mention, in all the videos today, I haven't actually said what this guy is. He's Goblin Bust from Kromlech Minis. I picked him up from eBay. There was a bit of filling to do around the ears, a few bubbles and ear stuff here to do here and there. But generally speaking, he was in good nick, and the person I bought him from had made a good start of it, just needed me to finish it off a little, so the ears were separate and joined, and sort of they were partly filled in. I finished the rest, but there we go. Really, really happy with that. I probably do need another coat of matte varnish just to tidy things up. But the one thing left to do is, yep, I've got a plinth. The plinth has a pin, and there we go. And again, the pretty nice reddish wood there, which complements the green rather nicely. Actually, yeah, just looking at it there, if I align the grain with his gaze, that seems to look the best for me. YouTube, I'm really quite pleased with myself there. Well, thanks for watching however much of this nonsense there is. I'm probably up to about 15 minutes now, which is a good deal longer than my usual videos. So if you're still stuck here at the end, well, thanks very much for your attention, and yeah, hopefully I'll speak to you very soon with some more painted stuff. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.